Listen to me. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
See,
Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Steven.
You're making it work. The only way out of this is discipline and respect.
It's been about a year since the Steven Crowder home security footage came out of him berating his wife. Now, one of his former employees, Not Gay Jared, is talking about what it was like to work with him. Things weren't going good for Crowder anyway, as the tape of him and his wife came out around the same time as they were getting a divorce. The video that was leaked was him talking to his pregnant wife like she is a child. She was wanting to take the car somewhere, but he wouldn't let her. I don't understand why they only have one car. The guy seems to be doing pretty good based on the house and the giant pool. You shouldn't talk to anyone this way, let alone your wife.
I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Watch it.
Around the same time that video came out, some of his former employees started to talk about how terrible it was to work for him, which is believable because if he treats his wife this way, then why would he treat his employees any better? A former co-host on Louder with Crowder said he surrounded himself with yes men and added that he's become a bully and doesn't realize it.
He's like, do you still want to be on Louder with Crowder? And I said, not at the moment. And he starts going off on me, and now there's a ton of people in my apartment who can hear it.
Wait, like he's literally raising his voice?
He's screaming at me.
Okay, so literally raising his voice, not just being stern, like to the point where it's audible.
It's audible, yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's started stern, but then it got into telling me that he owns me, and
in those words?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. He owns me.
According to employees of Crowder, it wasn't just his bad attitude that made him a terrible boss, but they also said he would expose himself to employees and even teabag Not Gay Jared while he was asleep. Around the same time all of this was coming out was when Brian Callen took a job with Crowder to replace Landau.
Yeah, guys, there's been a lot of
Uh-oh. I know.
I'm doing Crowder, Louder with Crowder.
I love Crowder.
Yeah.
I just talked to Crowder.
Yeah, great guy.
He's my guy.
I'm doing Crowder. I'm on Louder with Crowder.
And Crowder almost immediately put Callen in a cow suit getting whipped by a cowboy.
Oh, shit. No. Give me that milk. Oh, give me that milk.
You really get to see behind the scenes of what Crowder is like in this recording. Shortly after Callen joined Crowder, he went live and Crowder didn't know.
You don't need to hit a button there like cross.
I know, but I'm trying to do promotion right now. Steven, let's go live. Let's make this the best show ever.
Is this already live?
No, but
You have no idea what I could have been doing, and that camera's turned on?
Well, yeah, but
That's
the
why
way
you get in trouble, Brian.
But you move
That's
like
why you get in trouble.
You move like a jungle cat.
Owen Benjamin tweeted about Crowder and said Crowder would have them wear dresses when they performed on stage, saying it was just a way to mock the left, but now realizes it was just weird. When all of this was happening, people thought Not Gay Jared would have something to say, as he was with Crowder for a while before leaving in 2018, because he never came out and said anything negative about his time with Crowder. That is, until recently. He never named Crowder personally, but he did say it was a former employer. He said that former employer has been threatening him with a lawsuit for years. So he says the things done to him and the things he has seen happen to other employees was indefensible.
Many years ago, I voluntarily left my job after deciding I could no longer put myself or my growing family through the toxic and abusive work environment I had endured for years. This place was and is to this day a workplace rife with sexual misconduct, degeneracy, and aggression. The things I saw, the things done to me, and the things I witnessed my employer do to others were disgusting, shocking, and utterly indefensible. I have the receipts. This all took a serious toll on my personal health. To the point near the end of my tenure, the work environment had become so toxic that I had to be admitted into a heart hospital. And after many tests, I was ultimately put on anti-anxiety medication. This condition was something new to me. I had no history of it prior to my employment there and have never been treated for it since.
Apparently, leaving Louder with Crowder wasn't easy. He says he had to hire a lawyer because Crowder was wanting some production equipment back that Jared said he had purchased with his own money, as well as turning over his personal Twitter, which he was the creator of since 2009, and for him to sign a non-compete agreement claiming it was now their intellectual property.
I was told many lies throughout this process. I immediately hired my own legal counsel and By the grace of God, understanding my predicament, he even agreed to work for half of his normal rate. Even so, the legal fees immediately began to pile up. My former employer and his attorney argued I could not work in media anywhere in the world, and most certainly not in the United States for 2 years. This is not because I had voluntarily signed some sort of non-compete in my original employment agreement. It was because they decided a non-solicitation clause that was in said original agreement would retroactively be interpreted as the broadest and strictest non-compete one could draft. They told me on my Twitter account, another potential lifeline to future work, which I had owned and been the sole manager of since 2009, was to be turned over to them on the argument that it was somehow their intellectual property now. Presumably to keep me from working even further, my former employer even tried to claim my personal production equipment, gear I had owned for years prior to working there, as company property. After producing every receipt to validate my ownership, a vicious lie that I stole from the company was born and disseminated by my employer. By the way, breaking their side of this bogus mutual non-disparagement agreement. I have those receipts as well.
I'm not sure why Crowder would want to keep Jared from not working in the media again. It's not like having a job in media would hurt Crowder's show. Jared went on to say that he signed the NDA because he was running out of money to pay legal fees and just wanted to get it over with. He thought he got out of the non-compete agreement to where he could still work, but apparently the lawyers sent him a cease and desist.
Again, as a man with his first child on the way, the small victory I got from it. The primary reason I signed the NDA was for a small carve-out in the non-compete clause, which allowed me to freely seek employment using some of my skill sets at another specific company. At least I could feed my family. That provision, however, was a lie. And upon starting my new job at the new said company, I was giving another one of these, a cease and desist. And was promptly unlawfully terminated from that position. I added thousands more to my legal debt trying to fight back. My wife was very pregnant by this time, and without a financial safety net for groceries and a baby crib, much less a legal fund to file a countersuit, I simply had to let it go, trusting God had a plan. To that point, I want to say that I'm happy to report that he did have a plan, and what was intended for evil, God used for good.
But even after letting it go, he says Crowder's legal team is still requesting him to do a deposition and also wants all the communication he has had between him and his friends.
Documents were filed with the county court of my former place of employment, demanding that I be subject to an oral deposition under oath for an unlimited amount of time, where they were free to interrogate me on pretty much any private matter that they chose. Also, in this petition for discovery, they demanded that I turn over documents of all communications with more than a dozen of my friends, an unlimited amount of unnamed persons in any form and over an unlimited period of time. I did not.
After all of this came out, Candace Owens said everything Jared is saying is true and that Crowder's wife and co-workers should find the courage to speak out. For some reason, Crowder doesn't want Jared to have a platform to speak about what went on while he was employed, because Owen Benjamin and Quarterback Garrett said they didn't have one to sign.
Steven Crowder makes his employees sign NDAs. Forget about the contract that the Daily Wire is trying to do. Forget that. If you want $50 million, yeah, they're going to own your. And if you get kicked off a platform and they can't make their money back, they'll give you less money. That's not even that crazy at all. Okay? He puts people in contracts that are like, they won't ever be able to work in comedy ever again. That was not Gay Jared's contract. He's not allowed to tell his story. So I told his story. Steven Crowder never talked to me again, bashed me behind the scenes, was really like coming at me in ways, trying to ruin my name, trying to tell people I was insane, blah, blah, blah. It's the same psychopathic story over and over and over again. The good news is lies never last. They fall apart. I'm actually outside of the beast that he's now spiraling with. I don't view this as controlled at all, what's happening with Crowder. I think that he's now alone for the first time outside of a network, and he has no idea how to be a man.
So after all this came out from Not Gay Jared, Crowder's co-host, Gerald, addressed the accusations, also announcing that Crowder is filing a lawsuit against Jared and his wife for extortion. Gerald showed court documents that he says are of Hillary and Jared, and they're working together in an effort to take down Crowder. or at the very least make him look terrible in the public's eye and hurt his brand, even saying Hillary's father was in on it with them. It's weird that Crowder had his co-host address the accusations against him because 7 months ago, he addressed the Ring videotape himself.
I commented on my ongoing divorce on Tuesday, requesting privacy in the best interest of the family, but also by court order agreed upon by all parties. Look, broken marriages are ugly, and in them people do ugly things. Myself, of course included, I would never claim otherwise. However, due to recent misleadingly edited leaks to the tabloid press without context and not subject to consequences of the court, well, if not privacy, the next best option is truth. So today, I have filed a motion to officially unseal all files as they relate to the matter of legal record. Finances, relevant medical records, including mental health history or evaluations, depositions, and any motions or sanctions from the courts of Texas. I will not be leaking private marital information to the press, but if the privacy agreements are not respected by all parties, I will address all that is a matter of irrefutable legal record in full context next week.
I assume Crowder didn't address the accusations himself for legal reasons. Gerald just said Crowder wasn't supposed to be on the show that day.
Here is Hillary's father in a group text thread to the family, and it's a message that was liked by Hillary. The type of team I want. They understand right-wing media. They are familiar with who Stephen is and that world, and the things that would destabilize him. Remember that word, destabilize. Fully understand and agree that Hillary's goals and expectations for the outcome of this divorce are reasonable and attainable. Not necessarily according to Texas family law precedent, but by employing a media/Brian Friedman and PR strategy that will significantly threaten this public persona and brand. That's from
2022.
Yes. This has been the plan from the beginning, guys.
Gerald addressed Hillary and her dad, but he also mentions Jared and how he has been in communication with Hillary, even sharing a picture of them eating out together.
Hillary and Jared met in Atlanta to discuss their strategy, and they took this picture. How He Changed My Mind. I guess a proposed book that Hillary would like to write to apply more pressure to Stephen. February 20th, per Jared's text messages, any scenario where Hillary and I team up is the end of him, meaning Stephen. It is his worst nightmare. Watch the real fear enter his eye when Tim asks the question. All been going on behind the scenes.
It appears that behind the scenes, everyone Crowder allegedly wronged are teaming up against him, specifically Hillary, her father, and Jared. And also we're looking to recruit members of the press on the right who could also provide context to Crowder's behavior. But again, Jared signed an NDA, which means he's not supposed to say anything about his time at Louder with Crowder, which he did in his recent video and with the communication with Hillary. In one text to Hillary, Jared says he doesn't want Crowder around the kids, saying it disturbs him. Jared responded to that text on Twitter and said he stands by it, and then calls out Crowder to release the NDA. He's already claimed Crowder exposed himself in the office and even teabagged him. It's all just getting to be really weird back and forth, like you did this and yeah, but you did this.
One of the claims was that Stephen had revealed his genitalia to people in the office. We talked about that. We addressed all of that.
Here's what they didn't see our Terminator 2
Terminator 2 sketch, or when you have to wear, like really thin garments so that you can be painted gold.
Yeah.
Right? For some of the sketches that we've done. Here's what you don't know. Jared exposed his penis in professional settings to Stephen. When they were at Wham Radio, he would expose himself in a way that only Stephen could see. And then for an hour, Stephen would have to sit there talking to people at the radio station about the business dealings of the show and not break. And to them, it was funny then and funny now. We're not calling him out for it. We're just saying it seems a bit odd that he was somebody who participated, maybe even started doing it.
It seems like there is some weird tension between Crowder and Jared. I think the most plausible answer is that they were just joking. If you've ever watched the movie Waiting, then you know what I'm talking about.
Tell you about this little game we play. I assume Monty went over the basic idea with you, right?
Yeah,
You know the object, right? I mean, to have the other guy look at you naked. Now look, the main thing to remember is to get the other guy to unknowingly look at you.
When I was in high school, we did the same thing because of that movie. It's hilarious. But if you're not in on the joke, then it comes off as, well, not good. especially to an audience like Crowder's. In the response video from Gerald, he says that Hillary also deleted camera footage from their ring cam, which the court said she was not supposed to do.
Hillary deleted all of the other footage from that house on the ring cameras and the Lake residence when a court expressly barred her from doing so. How many hours? Over 2,000 hours. Also, 8,000 hours never even handed over, along with 18 seconds from the doctored video itself. A note, Substack video had small portions that were not even included in the court-issued videos, which means that it came from some other source. You can do the math. This was all a part of the plan.
It makes you wonder why Hillary would delete that much ring cam footage, leaving the public with only the video of Crowder berating her and not letting her take the car. It feels like a coordinated attack on Crowder through the media with the hope of having him crumble under all the negative press and settle.
And at the right time, Mark Scroggins, the first of three attorneys, will show SC the path to make it all go away. Do you understand what they're saying there, guys? We're going to wage a campaign against Stephen. Not to tell the truth about Stephen, but to misrepresent things that are going on so that we can put pressure on him. Doesn't matter if these things are true or not. People are going to run with it because, hey, Steven Crowder tells some jokes sometimes that offend people. So they're going to run with it and they're going to put pieces out in the newspaper. And then when the pressure is so much, when we have wrecked his life enough, at the right time, and I quote, bring it back up, at the right time, Mark, referring to Hillary's first divorce attorney, will show SC the path to make it all go away.
Sounds like Hillary and Jared teamed up in order to get the most they can out of Crowder. In regards to Hillary, I think it has to do more with custody of the kids. Gerald showed messages between her and her mom where she says she got a really good offer from Crowder, but when it came down to the custody arrangement, she wasn't satisfied. It's getting so ridiculous, Gerald said Crowder, while living at an unlisted address, received a vague threat written on a sweet potato.
The address where the children slept part of the time was intentionally doxed. Hillary sent the private and unlisted residential address to Jared. You know how I know it was private and unlisted? Because I was in charge of making sure it was so. Do you know why? To make sure that the kids were safe. Not everybody likes Stephen.
After looking into this whole mess, I realize it's just another divorce. There's a lot more going on in the world than some B-level news personality and his divorce.
Give me that